Hey there, it's Matt, and in this video I'm going to show you the step-by-step process that I would use if I wanted to build a $1 million per year YouTube agency. And even if you don't have a YouTube agency, maybe you should watch this video because the same process applies to pretty much any kind of agency, and you can learn a lot more in many cases from examples like this than you would from just, okay, do this, kind of class course, I don't know how you would say, like academic type stuff. So let's get into the video and I hope you enjoy it. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Matthew Larson. I am the founder of 1000x Leads as well as the 10K per month agency program. And I work with about 315 different agency owners on a monthly basis. So I have a pretty good insight as to what works for a variety of different people right now. I have built 3 agencies to over $1 million per year in annual revenue in the past 12 years. Never done it with a YouTube growth agency like this video, but the process is the same. And I make these YouTube videos and newsletters all the time about growing agencies and B2B businesses. Now, this is just what I would do, and there's more than one way to do things. I'm not going to gatekeep or do anything like that. You take what you think is good, and you can discard the rest, or don't take any of it all, for that matter, if you don't want to. But what we're going to be talking about mostly in here is the 1000x Leads funnel. If you don't know what that is, just watch some more of my videos or go to my website, that kind of stuff. So we need to start at the very bottom because in the funnel we have offers, we have bottom of funnel, middle of funnel, top of funnel, and then sales. We need to start at offers for the same reason why we would build the foundation or the floor or the walls of the house before we build the roof or the ceiling. That's just the natural order of things. It wouldn't make any sense to start at the top, would it? So the first thing we're going to talk about is the offers. And when we're talking about offers, we are talking basically about 7 different things. We got our recurring service, our intro offer, our referral fees, our course, our program, our digital products, and our affiliate marketing affiliate links. So the offers are going to be down here, over here, and over here. And it's so important that we have all of these different offers because that's the only way we can monetize the entire target market. If we just have our main service like a lot of agencies do, 99% of leads are going to be wasted because they can't afford it, it's not a good fit, whatever. So for my recurring service, what I would do is I would do YouTube editing, ideation, scripting, thumbnails, etc. And I would stick to B2B businesses like agencies or SaaS for this because that's a niche that I know the best, and I know that there's direct potential to get them a positive ROI by getting them clients. So if they got one client that's worth $20,000 over the next 6 months or something, very easy to prove that my service is helping them make more money. And when you can prove that your service is helping them make more money, you are going to retain that client. And it's that simple. I would not have different options for this. There's some situations where you might have different tiers or packages like an SEO agency. I would not do that for this simply because you just need to know so much about your client and their business to be able to come up with ideas and do scripting for them, and it's just not really worth it in my opinion to have those different packages. So what I would do is I would have 4 ideas, 4 scripts, 4 edited videos, and 4 custom thumbnails per month for 5K. So that's basically like 4 professionally produced videos with scripts and all of that kind of stuff for $4,000 or $5,000 per month. And I think it's necessary to charge $5,000 per month. One, because you can really prove it that it's worth it for them if they're getting clients. And like I said before, you just have to know so much about their business that even if you did $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 for one, it's probably not worth it, in my opinion. For the intro offer, there's a few different paths that you could go. Like you could go the whole, I'll do 1 video for you for free, or do 1 video for 1K or something, and that would be valid. But the problem with that is what I said before, is you're going to just have to know so much about their business that it's a question of if you could even help them get a good result in 1 video. They're going to be nervous. It's going to be their first one. So I think a 52-week YouTube strategy for $2,500 that has 52 ideas, a bunch of different templates in Miro and Gamma Docs that they can copy and paste. For those ideas, have a few thumbnails of similar videos that really worked well to give them an idea. You take their whatever their budget is and tell them what lighting, camera, microphone, that kind of stuff to buy based on their budget. And then I would go on FaceTime with them, hold up my phone and or Zoom and say, okay, put your camera here, put your lights here and here and here, set your microphone up this distance, use these settings. And I think that would be very good for $2,500 as an intro offer. For the referral fees, there's two situations. There's if you have a happy client and they just want to know some other agency that they could work with, you could refer them to other agencies that don't necessarily sell YouTube services, but they do lead gen in their various ways. So content agencies, short form video agencies, paid ad agencies, cold email agencies. Because if they're hiring you, there's a good chance they're doing that because they want leads. They ask for something else. They want to diversify their lead streams or their lead generation methods. You should have relationships where you can refer to them and then maybe get a $500 or $1,000 per month referral fee, ongoing. Very good way to just increase the lifetime value of every client. Or there might be situations where someone, let's say you're in the United States, someone who could do a pretty good job in Eastern Europe for cheaper or something of that nature. You could refer them to that and collect a referral fee that way. A couple different options there. For the course, I always recommend every agency has a course, and you don't need to be a guru. It's more of some people just can't afford your $5,000 a month service right now. They still need it. They still want it. They still want to work with you. So you have a pre-recorded course, and you can this is kind of stuff you'd make for your internal operations and employee training anyway. You'd have a training video for every part of YouTube, thumbnails, ideas, scripts, editing, and so on. And then you will probably have a bunch of different templates, swipe files, checklists, assets, all that kind of stuff. So I'd make a few different of these for each kind of category here. So I would have an A/B testing checklist for the thumbnail, a design, branding. And I'm going to link this video in the description so you could go through exactly what I would do. I don't really need to explain every single one right here, I don't think, but we'd have stuff like a script writing template or a hook, checklist, or a script editing guide or audio setup guide, everything that you could think of that someone would need to succeed. Because if you can help them succeed through a course, even though you're not really working with them, it's going to be so much better to, get them to trust you. And you want to have a great course. You don't need to be a scamming guru. That's not necessary or not required, contrary to popular belief, where you just have all of these things and just make it easy for them. Kind of in between the course and the actual service in terms of price and effort, I'd probably have a done with you program where they get a custom Trello board, do all this across 3 months, a weekly Q&A call to help them, and then a one-on-one Slack channel for feedback. And I think that would be great to have a 3-month for $6,000 total, where they do most of the work, but you can help them. For the affiliate links, what I would do is I would have affiliate links that basically, different things that they would need. I would include these in my lead magnets and in my email flows so that even if nobody, talked to me or they didn't even engage with me, I still have a chance to monetize them through this. And you can build up a pretty good MRR over time with this, where I might have something like TubeBuddy, which is a YouTube tool, and then they need a landing page to collect emails. So I'd have ClickFunnels, and then they need thumbnails. I'd have Canva or Adobe. And then they need email marketing to nurture their lists. So I'd have ConvertKit. And all of these things will give me additional MRR over time. And you'd be surprised. You can build up 5, 10, 15, 20K MRR as an agency just by running ads to lead magnets passively, getting clients anyway, but having this as kind of a passive revenue stream. And finally, for the paid products over here, which I could run ads to, I could do content to if I really wanted to, or I could just have that on the thank you page and the email flows and that kind of stuff, is I would have a bunch of different assets to put in thumbnails. Maybe I'd have 100 different assets where they can just copy it into their Canva account, no design skills necessary, and just make thumbnails, and I'd sell it for $97. In addition to that, I would have 4 free bonuses that I would hope would be worth, in their mind, $97 on their own. So the real magic happens in terms of this working when you have a good product, but then you also have bonuses that, okay, that's probably worth $97 if it can help me make great thumbnails, or okay, that swipe file with examples is probably worth $97, or this hooks and intro guide, if it can increase my retention by 20%, that's worth $97. And that's where the real magic happens. You have a great offer for your digital product, usually templates, to be honest, and then you have free bonuses. And these are really what I would be doing for the offers for this YouTube agency. Next, we're going to go to the bottom of the funnel, and the tools we will need for that are Beehive, Close.com, Webinar Jam, Gamma, and Close again. So the purpose of the bottom of the funnel, there's a few. So this is kind of where we're talking about with the bottom of the funnel here. So we have different things, and the primary purposes are to, of course, push them further down the funnel, get more value. But the second main purpose is to determine who's qualified for our service and who is not. So we're going to use a few different tools for that here. So the first is we're going to make a newsletter. So that would be right here, where we just keep in touch with them. We keep sending them stuff over and over, and they're going to basically self-qualify in this case. Or they might, go over here and they might buy some products, or they might be not qualified and they know that, and they might buy the course instead. All of our offers would be in the newsletter. So what I would do is I would write a newsletter about YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and they would have 4 main sections. So in one section, I do an actionable tip that they can do to their next YouTube video within 24 hours, like to use these audio settings in your recording tool. Very actionable. They can do it right away. Second one is like a short example of what I would do for X type of agency. So, for a cold email agency, I would make this video and why. The third would be an example of a few videos I liked that week, whether that's like, I thought the intro was good, I thought the structure was good, the thumbnail was good, or the title was good. And then the fourth would be a long form section about something important with YouTube, and that would be like kind of the traditional newsletter content. For my appointment setting, which is going to be right here, I would be getting my appointment setter to contact everybody by email, SMS, calling them. And I would try to get them to either buy my intro offer or sign up for my webinar, which we'll talk about in a sec. I would be paying my appointment setter 5% commission for every sale that, was a real sale that he set up the call for. And then I would probably pay him a small base salary just because. So less commission and a small base salary. A lot of people might pay 10%, base commission with no salary, but I like to pay mine little just for some stability and kind of to get them to focus a little bit more. I already paid you a base, you better focus. I would be running 3 types of retargeting ads as well. So on YouTube, I would be running retargeting ads to before my videos to people who watch my videos, as well as people who've been to my website. 2 very important groups, I think, on YouTube to run retargeting ads to. I'd run a small budget on Google Display Network, so I'm on basically every site. And then I would run Facebook retargeting ads, all of those to people who've already been to my website. There's a few different options for a conversion mechanism. There's a webinar, there's a live workshop, there's a unique mechanism, and there's a community. For this, I would prioritize the webinar, and I would make it about the same topics as I made the course, as I'm going to talk about making the lead magnets soon. And, it's going to go over the thumbnails, the ideas, the scripts, the editing, the microphone and audio, the production value, the speaking on camera, the analytics. And this is kind of like maybe like an hour-long, 60-minute pre-recorded webinar that's kind of like the same thing as the course, but a pre-recorded webinar. So what is this? There's 9 different parts. So 9 things you need to start getting clients from YouTube. And then it would go over, some tips for each of these parts. And I would use that and make it very specific to agency owners or whatever I chose as my niche to, show that I know what I'm talking about. And people are going to watch this webinar and be like, damn, that's a good webinar. I better just schedule a call. Or damn, that's a good webinar. Can't afford it. I know that, but I might buy this guy's course instead. It's kind of like think of this webinar as an automated salesperson. In my CRM, and the CRM just kind of falls, let's get rid of some of this stuff. CRM kind of falls here. Who's qualified and who's not. So to sign up for my webinar, and all that kind of stuff on my forms, I would be asking for revenue. And I would categorize people based on revenue within these ranges, 0 to 10K, 10 to 25K, 25 to 100K, and then 100K plus. realistically, to buy my service, they're going to be in these two categories, but that's why it's so important to have these offers, because if they're at 0 to 10K or even 10 to 25K, we might be able to sell them the course or the program. And if we didn't have that, that's going to be a large percentage of the whole market. Most businesses are under 25K per month. It's just physics. It's just like the law of the universe. Most businesses are small. I think it's like something like 4% of businesses get to, $1 million a year, and 0.25% get to $10 million a year or more, or something like that. We need to have offers for every level of the market, or we're not going to be as profitable as we should be. In the middle of the funnel, and we're going to go the middle of the funnel, is basically the lead magnets, the thank you page, and the email flows. The purpose of this is to, act as a bridge from our traffic, capture the lead, nurture the lead, get them comfortable enough to watch our webinar or read our newsletter or respond to our appointment setter, that kind of stuff. So what I would do for my lead magnets is I would make full-length trainings on the same topics we're talking about for the webinar and the course: the thumbnails, the ideas, the scripts, the editing, the audio, the production value, speaking on camera, analytics, and the titles. I would run all my lead magnets through 3 tests or 3 rules. The value rule: even though the lead magnet is free, would I honestly pay $50 for this? And if the answer is no, probably not valuable enough. It needs more examples, it needs more secrets, it needs more advice, all that kind of stuff. The second one is the actionable rule. And is there an exact step-by-step plan that's very obvious, like important, follow this? It takes 20 minutes that they can do within the next 24 hours to get a quick win. Because if people do that and they start to follow your advice, they see it works, they're way more likely to hire you. A lot of people get that backwards, or they say, "What if I give it all away, they're not going to hire me?" That's not true at all. They just want to know, like, a lot of people don't want to do it themselves, they don't have time, and a lot of them don't even want to do it themselves or want to know how to do it themselves. They just want to know that you know how to do it, and you need to convince them of that. And if your lead magnet is basic, they're going to assume that you're basic. Or if your lead magnet's the best thing ever, they're going to assume that you're the best thing ever. People can't read your mind. You really got to put it all out there. And then finally, the readable rule. So is there one image plus idea per slide? And that just makes it so much more consumable that you have one idea, one slide, one image to support the idea. It makes it very easy to read, and it doesn't matter how valuable or actionable everything is if no one reads it or no one consumes it. So it's very important to have that. For my email flows, I would have 2 different email flows that would start sending to people who filled out any form. And the call to action in both would be like, book a call for my agency. My 4-hour email flow would send first, and the lead magnet that they signed up for would be delivered immediately. What we do, what problems we solve, why we need to solve those problems, and how we solve them are like basically what we need to do. Very important that we send these fast, because people are never going to be as engaged as they are right when they sign up for a form. And people are like, oh, that's kind of spamming. Them not knowing what we do or forgetting who we are is way worse than them getting annoyed and unsubscribing. Trust me. After that, I would also have a 30-day email flow that starts 24 hours after they opt in. And this would send 1 email per day focused on answering an FAQ. So, like some examples I have here, I really thought about this. How do we stay ahead of the YouTube algorithm? Can you guarantee my YouTube channel's growth? How much does YouTube marketing really cost? When do you start seeing results? Like any objection or FAQ that they might be wondering that would kind of get in the way of them buying is something that you should have an email about. And we want to have as many emails as possible and answer all the questions and objections until there just aren't anymore, and buying becomes the natural step. So I'm not going to read all of these here. I'm going to have it linked in the description again, and you can do that yourself. But the final piece of the puzzle is the thank you page. So when they fill out any form, they'll be redirected to a thank you page, and it will have a video sales letter about my offer, showing my face and letting them hear my voice, a book a call button, and tons of proof, as much as you can think of. Case studies, wins, screenshots, testimonials, client logos, all of that kind of stuff. And that would wrap up the middle of the funnel here. The next part that we kind of have to deal with here is the top of the funnel. And this is the exciting part, right? The paid ads, the content, the outreach, and the partnerships. But we have to do the other stuff first, or there'd be nothing to drive traffic to. And that frustrates a lot of people, but that's the truth. So the tools that I use for this are Webflow for my landing pages. I use Facebook ads. I use Hypefury to schedule content, Canva for thumbnails. I use Instantly for cold email, Apollo for leads, and Million Verifier to clean the leads that I export from Apollo. You can use whatever you want, but that's just what I would be using. So I'd be running a few different types of paid ads, and these are the campaigns that I would do. So on Facebook, with Facebook ads, I would do a paid product ad to my 100 templates for thumbnails. I'd run a lead magnet ad, and I'd probably run an ad, oops, kind of screwed that one up here, directly to my intro offer. And I would see which one of these campaigns would work the best, because one of them is going to work the best, and you don't really know before you try. And then I would also run YouTube ads and Google search ads to my intro offer. I wouldn't do the lead magnet or the paid product for those, just because these are going to be more expensive. You don't use YouTube ads and Google search ads to be very profitable, in my opinion. You use those to scale. And $97 for the paid product or a free lead magnet's not going to pay the bills very fast. For my written content, I would use the following strategy. So I would try to post about 5 times per day on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. And I would use a tool called Hypefury to schedule it and cross-post it. So it'll automatically turn it into carousels or images for Instagram as well as LinkedIn. And what I would do here is I would take the categories that we're talking about, the thumbnails, the ideas, the scripts, the editing, and I brainstorm about 20 frequently asked questions for each, maybe 30. And then my entire content strategy would be just answering these FAQs. It's the easiest content strategy imaginable. And it also is one of the most effective one in terms of like time and cost effectiveness, by far the best. So I would take, I just brainstormed a few here. I'm not going to talk about like 30 for each, but for thumbnails, what makes a YouTube thumbnail effective? I can make a tweet or a LinkedIn post about that easy. What tools do I use to make thumbnails? How can I test different thumbnails to perform best? These are all things that your target audience would be thinking about, and they're very interesting in my opinion. You can make this not boring at all. What are common mistakes to avoid when designing thumbnails? Let's go to the ideas. How do I consistently generate fresh ideas? What's the best source of inspiration? How do I validate ideas before producing them? So you just go down the list. I'm not going to go through every single one here. I might go one of each. Like, what are the essential steps in the video editing process? What's the importance of good quality audio in YouTube videos? How do I improve the overall production value? How can I build confidence when speaking on camera? Like, all good FAQs. How do I track the performance of my videos, and how do I craft compelling titles? So what I would do is have these like 20, 30 good FAQs for each. And if I have these 9 categories in this example and have 30 FAQs, that's 270 video ideas. You could pretty much never run out of content just by doing this strategy. And once you get through the 270, you'll just start over, because no one's going to remember at that point. And if they do, repetition is valuable anyways. For my YouTube video content, I would kind of try to keep it to 3 main styles. So like an example video, a tutorial, and then maybe like a quick wins or mistakes to avoid. And YouTube video content is so important because along with the newsletter, it's the #1 way to convert leads who already know about you into clients. Because a lot of the time people will come in through ads, for example, and they'll, be going like here, and then they'll read your newsletter or they'll see your YouTube, and like that's how they convert. And, is that a paid ad client or is that a content client? Yeah. Question for the philosophers, but that is how it actually works in reality. And here are some like YouTube video ideas that I, came up with. The foolproof formula for creating YouTube thumbnails that get clicks. The ultimate YouTube script writing guide for 2024. Coming up with YouTube videos ideas is easy when you use this method. So you want to think when you're creating a title, you want to think does this title give them reason to click on the video? Very important. The best microphone setup for crystal clear audio, that gives them, a reason to click on the video. How this title format skyrocketed my YouTube videos views, that is a good reason to click. And then for TikTok, Reels, Shorts, what I would do is you can see the analytics for your written content in Hypefury. And what I would do is basically sort it by engagement, number of likes, and make videos based on the ones that got the highest engagement. Because if they got high engagement, chances are it's a topic people want to learn more about, and it's worth making a 30 to 60 second short form video. The next one is the outreach. And for outreach, we kind of got paid ads here. We've done content, you know, our Instagram, our Twitter, our YouTube, our TikTok, and our LinkedIn. Now we want to do outreach and cold email, cold DMs, and prospecting. These are kind of more of like different methods than anything else. They're all outreach, but the strategy is going to be the same for all of them, realistically. So I would focus on my intro offer, the 52-week strategy for $2,500. And what I would do is I would export a list in Apollo from the USA with CMO, COO, CEO, founder job titles. I think a 3 to 25 employee count is like what you would want for this list, because less than 3 employees, they probably can't afford it. And more than 25 employees, they probably either do it already or they just don't need that many leads because they already have it if they have a company of that size. And then I would have agency and SaaS keywords to try to narrow it down. Whether I export, like, I think a good one would be to export from clutch.co, because that's like an agency review site. So you could just kind of narrow it down for that. But that's just what I would do. So for my script, I'd keep it short, you know, and I put in brackets here. I wouldn't actually have this in like, hello, Matthew, that's my name. Saw you own an agency. Or if you exported a list from SaaS, you would change agency to SaaS. That's kind of what I tried to indicate here. I could create a 52-week YouTube plan that could help you get more clients, or if it was SaaS, probably users for your agency, or SaaS again, just so you wouldn't actually put that, but I just have to clarify that because I just know some of you are going to be like, wow. Just like we did for Joe's agency, for example. Mind if I send you over a quick video with all the details? And then that would be my call to action. So my call to action script would be centered around sending them a loom that explains it a bit more, because you don't want to have a long cold email script. That's one of the main reasons it doesn't work for people. They write like a book in their cold email, and who wants to read all that? Not me, and no one else, trust me. And the benefit of doing the loom is then you'd go from just someone who cold emailed them to a real person, because when they watch the loom, they'll see your face, hear your voice, all that kind of stuff. So that would be like what we would do for cold emails, cold DMs, and prospects. Same strategy, same everything, same script, just how we do it would be different. For partnerships, and that's the final piece of the top of funnel, I would build partnerships with, you know, people who could help me get clients. And I would put just as much emphasis on trying to create these as I would getting actual clients. Because when you get one client, you get one client. But if you get a good partner, and you don't need that many good partners, you could get 20 or 50 or 100 clients. Who knows? So referral and white label partnerships, kind of touched on it before, but I would be making these with other lead generation focus agencies that do something other than YouTube. The cold email, the short form, the paid ads, the cold, I kind of have cold email. This should say content. I kind of put cold email twice there. And then for media partnerships, like who knows my clients? I would go on blogs that have to do with agencies, or newsletters that have to do with agencies, or other YouTube channels or podcasts, or try to speak at events, or do guest posting and speaking in private communities, that kind of stuff, and leverage their audience to try to get more leads for myself. And for a joint venture, I might partner with a paid ad agency and a cold email agency and just give like a full lead gen service, if that makes sense, you know? Why just get YouTube when you could get the whole package type thing? And that would be the top of funnel kind of finished up for, you know, what I would be doing. The final piece of the puzzle would be sales. And for sales, I use Calendly, Gamma, and Close.com. So there's a few different parts that we have to do in the sales. So I have sales down here realistically. So what I would want to do with the Calendly is send them reminders, email and SMS before, 24 hours before, and 4 hours before, and 1 hour before. I think that 1 hour before is good, because if a lot of people will try to do it like 15 minutes before or 30 minutes before, but if they're like doing something or something of that nature, and it's kind of too late in my opinion. What I also want to do is kind of get them some, or like I would want to get some qualifying information from them, or disqualifying, you know, depending on your point of view. But I would want to do stuff like, let's go to my calendar here. I want to get their name, their email, their phone number, their revenue, their website, and kind of ask where they booked the call from and if they're okay with the price range. So I have that all in mind where, where'd you come from? How familiar are you? Price range, don't book if you're doing less than 10K per month and that kind of stuff. And then once they submit, I would want it to redirect to the sales presentation so they'll be 100% familiar and on the same page with what we're going over on the call. I would also be sending them a pre-call video with who am I, what problems I solve, why we need to solve these problems, how we solve them, and then some examples and case studies. And I want to aim for this to be 10 minutes or less realistically, just something to get them prepared. In the sales presentation, what I would do is I'd have a 60-second introduction with some proof and examples and results, because we want to set ourselves up to be viewed as an expert in the first 60 seconds realistically. First impressions are very, very important in real life and in online Zoom calls. And then I would focus my entire sales presentation on a few questions. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to improve the YouTube content quality and increase viewer engagement and retention, which will lead to leads. So how is this usually done and what are the limitations? Basic editing or no editing, generic scripts or no scripts, and that will lead to limited impact and slow growth. So what's new in our approach? We have advanced tools for analytics. We have strategies that will be customized to your target audience instead of just generic YouTube videos, and that will lead to more people saying, okay, this is for me, I better do this. So who cares about this? Like, you should care because you're going to get more clients. If you're a content creator, if you're a marketer, you're an agency, you're going to get more clients, and that's going to lead to faster growth and better ROI. So the risks of this are, if you pay for it and all of that kind of stuff, and I don't really like what I put here. The risks here are if you pay for this and you do it properly, you're going to lose your money. That's really the risk. But it's going to cost us $5,000 per month for 4 videos. It will take a couple weeks to set up, and if you do it for 3 to 6 months, you are going to basically get a lot of clients from it and have huge success. What are the midterm and final terms for success here? It's a very important one because it's just abstract. How do I even know if we're on the right track, let alone successful? So in the midterm, increased thumbnail click-through rate, increased viewer retention, increased number of opt-ins and leads. And then, the final will be sustained, growth. You're getting tens of thousands of subscribers and getting high click-through rates and all of that kind of stuff. And then I would finish it off with case studies and results and proof and that kind of stuff. When I get to the sales call, because this would be like a presentation you make before, when I get to the sales call, I'd be trying to divide it into 3 parts. So part 1 would be information gathering, part 2 would be that screen share presentation we just talked about, and part 3 would be the objection handling and close. So in the first 5 or so minutes, why are we here today? Why are we interested in solving that problem? So why are we here today? To get more leads. Why do we want more leads? Why is not having enough leads a problem? Why would you do this now? Why didn't you do it 6 months ago? Or why won't you do it next quarter? Why not have someone else do it or do something else? And even if these are like kind of implied and obvious, getting them to admit to themselves out loud, even more so than you, is a very important step in sales. Why not do something else? I don't have time, or I don't know who can do it besides you. Oh, perfect. You don't say. Why is this a problem? Because if I don't, I'm going to lose my business, or I can't afford my mortgage. Oh, really? Perfect. Getting them to admit this stuff out loud is very important. Screen share presentation that I just went over, hopefully that's still fresh in your mind and I don't have to go over that. But the objection handling and the close. So when I finish my screen share presentation, I'll always ask, like, what do you think about this? Like, just tell me from 1 to 10, how likely are you to buy this? And they're going to tell you. And then you can revisit their answers from the first part. I'm only a 7 out of 10, but they said that they really want to do YouTube because they know it's going to work. So why are you a 7 out of 10? Is it me? Like that kind of stuff. What do you like about it? Or what are you unsure about it? And then you answer all these and then you tell them how to get started. That's basically that phase. Most people are not going to sign up right on the call or even shortly after, regardless of what sales trainers say. So you need to follow up. And I would follow up 24 times over 12 weeks. And I would try to make templates to streamline this. And in each follow-up, of course, I'd be asking for the sale, but I would also try to have some value, you know? I would have documents, videos, case studies, examples, templates, that kind of stuff. So I made a few different ideas here. So like week 1, you know, welcome to it, you know, regardless if you join or not, here's how to set up your YouTube channel for success. Because if they are unsure and they follow the guide and they set it up, like that's an activation point. That's a very important thing to, you know, okay, he told me how to make up my YouTube channel. Like, let's go here. And then, you know, here's another one. How to, you know, write titles that grab attention. Okay, that's what I would do for titles. You can think of these as further nurturing and further taking down any, you know, I don't know, any final objections that you didn't get on the call. So this would be a document, you know, how to set up your YouTube channel, and then I would follow up with a video on how to do it, just to like ensure they do it kind of thing. And then at the end of week 2, I'd probably do a case study, how agency owner got to 100K subscribers, how agency owner made 30,000 from YouTube or something like that. And I'm not going to read all of these again, you know, there's lots of them, but this is just what I would be doing. And this would be very template based to save time, but it would also be template based to make sure the quality is the same and they get all of the information they need. So all in all, that is going to be the offers. That is going to be the bottom of funnel, middle of funnel, top of funnel, and then sales. That is how I would build a $1 million per year YouTube agency. I hope you thought this was valuable, and I'll see you in the next one.